Hey, we're all fucking live. This is a shit show.
Finally.
Yeah. Looks
Really? You didn't fuck it up again? You managed to do the countdown?
Yeah. I don't know how, but I managed. Wow, Arc to Arc is the show. I can't believe we've done so many of these in a row. This is an endurance.
I think at some point I'm going to hit pause on this and then, I don't know, do like maybe a rebooted form that is better planned.
Maybe.
Yeah, do it in seasons. You know, we gotta go back. We gotta finish The Cure because everyone's waiting. Like, what do they think about The Cure? Everyone.
Yeah.
Well, literally everyone.
That poor guy. I'm sorry.
I know.
Spoilers. No one likes 413 Dream, and I like Songs of a Lost World. There.
Oh,
you don't have to wait.
Yeah. Really, we just should have a whole stream on that Caterpillar song. That's so good.
Why did you switch over from Close to Me to Caterpillar? When did that happen? That's what I
like. I mean, overall, I think I like Close to Me better. But the Caterpillar song, it's underrated. It's their hidden gem.
It was a single. I don't know if I underrated it. I mean, it was like the hit off that album.
Just ask any random person on the street. You know, what is your favorite song? They're not going to say Caterpillar.
That's true. You got me there. Anyway, Tokyo Ghoul. It's
we're doing that one.
Spoilers.
We finally reached the part of it.
Tokyo Ghoul regret.
I really enjoyed this stretch, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
I liked it a lot better too.
Yeah,
but in the battered housewife way.
Yeah. Well, it was like it reached a point where it was pure like irreverence, and I was all for it. I was like, yes, let's fucking throw. It was like combination of like madness and also like a lot of like payoffs to stuff that's been like long coming in the manga since part 1 basically. So fuck. So much stuff happened. I'm trying to remember here.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I feel like this is a totally different manga at this point from what we've experienced for the last, I don't know, 80 chapters. It's honestly like this is 2 incomplete manga that have a huge stretch of filler in the middle. I know certain people who will remain nameless probably disagree with me on that. I almost want to write an essay at this point about my problems with Tokyo Ghoul VR.
It would be funny to read.
I have not read Shojin X, but this last podcast and this bit just feels like the Shojin X section to me, and it's like it's like more fun. I just got that vibe from it. The art style looks more like what I've seen of Shojin X, the kind of layouts and the more expressive like drawings occasionally. The artwork was part of my for part of me liking this part more too. It was very good throughout. I really liked it. Yeah.
Well, it's like he spent the first, I don't know, since the 40% mark in Tokyo Ghoul up until about 20 chapters before this, he was just continually putting characters and interesting plot points in the freezer and never taking them out.
Yeah.
And now that he's reaching the end of the manga, he's realizing, oh, fuck, people care about things and do things that matter. I should bring some of that back.
I think me and Green's problem, I think it's like if the 3 of us were sitting at the restaurant and me and Green got a lot more impatient when the food was late than Jaws did. We were just like banging our cutlery on the table, being like, where the fuck is the food? I've been waiting for 50 chapters and they haven't paid off any of the things, and everyone keeps not dying and just running off. And Jaws like, it's fine, it'll be here any minute now. Probably because he's read the manga too, and now it's here finally.
About people not dying things. Okay,
let's reel back here. Everyone is underground, and the Ken Kaneki goes out and steals people's kinkis, and he lives in Tokyo 3. He
runs around ripping their ghoul dicks off and burying them underground.
No, he doesn't. He's trying to not kill people because he wants to unite humans and ghouls. I don't know if that's working out. we find out there's a lot of stuff here. He's got ghoul AIDS like Arima did, and he's aging.
Yeah, he's aging.
He's bleeding from his eyes, and just at the worst figures. First gets laid once. Immediately bangs up his wife, and he's gonna die. God damn it! He only got to fuck once, probably more times. I mean, when he went into the bedroom, she was like, "Want to do it like it's a regular thing." So fair enough.
I mean, it is kind of
a shitty place to have sex on, like a rickety cot inside of a jail cell. But you know, you make do.
There's been an ongoing implication, at least, that ghouls and humans, even if they're doing everything right, that they have compromised fertility and it's hard for them to conceive a viable offspring. And then, of course, Kaneki just squirts it in once and bam, baby. I mean, he is only like partially human at this point, so maybe that helps.
Well, it's a weird thing. Well, Toka is having the problem of having to... Maybe I read too much into this, but wasn't it like a thing of like, if you have... their specific combination of having a baby means it's probably going to be like a one-eyed ghoul, and so it's a lot harder for it to survive because it needs like human nourishment, right?
It can be like it's not based on the like the genetics of the parents if it's a one-eyed ghoul or not, but the thing that like mirrored is Eto's mother was a human and had eat human flesh for the baby to survive, and Toka is a ghoul and has to eat human food
because Kaneki is
a human.
Well, with 15 quotation marks.
Okay,
even on
I
one
was
side.
confused. I want to say I was less confused than I usually am, but earlier they were cutting to a woman who I thought they were implying she might be pregnant as well. Was that?
Oh, that was
Motto? Are they implying that?
No.
That
okay. That was they did kind of I thought she was pregnant too, but then I think the noise from her stomach was just her being hungry. That is wife of Eyebrows guy, who was also Toka's school friend, and she's been detained.
The one who's
awaiting
in
execution.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think she's
had a
pregnant,
moment where I was
though.
confused, wondering, did Amin fuck Motto, and now she has a ghoul
Amon
baby
and
as
Motto
well? Like,
didn't show up in the stretch aside from like a little flashback in Kaneki's mind, I think.
Yeah, it's really cool how half the characters look exactly like at least one other
that
character.
Was confusing. The biggest moment of confusion for me was that big scene when Kaneki is dying on the floor, and that brat brings over the two heads, and I was like, who is that? He's like really shocked. He's like, big reveal, and I'm like, who? I thought the guy on the right was Nishiki. Then I looked it up, and it was like two of the Squad Zero members, not even like the main ones. If it had been like the main guy who resigned, I would have remembered him or something, but it's just like two random Squad Zero members. I'm like, those guys died?
Flashbacks to the dead people?
That's before he has the flashbacks. When he's just lying on the floor, Furuta is like standing over him, and then the guy who infiltrated the place and murdered people, like the weird guy with like an implant on his tongue, he came over and like plopped two heads in front of him, and I was like, who? They could be anyone, just like two blonde heads. I thought one of them was like the chick who had died earlier, the one who Ui is trying to revive. I was like, what is happening? Because she was a head too. It was very confusing. That's unfortunate.
Characters, though, like there was also the part where he was going, all these people who have died, and Sharktooth guy from earlier in Re is there.
Oh yeah.
And either his mother or Hinami's mother.
And the two chicks,
and then just two people. I
remembered who that was. That was when Kaneki was running away from Aogiri the first time before he got like caught and tortured. Remember, there was a mother and child who were trying to escape with him, and they get murdered by. I forget
Jason,
who. Is it by Jason? Okay. And he's like, no, not them. So I guess that's still on his conscience. Yeah. Also, that was a funny one, too. I think they showed for a second, they showed this chick with curly blonde hair. And I was like, who? And then I think I remembered it was the chick who was like sipping blood wine in the bar who was friends with the guy who changes his face. I was like,
she's still alive.
Is it not her? No, not that. But she showed up in a scene with the clowns. Because I guess she's a clown, too, right? I'm just saying I didn't recognize her. I'm not saying she showed up in the flashback. I'm just saying she showed up, and I was like, "Who?" Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, she's friends.
Yeah, this lady was here. Yeah, and I was like, "Who?" for a second, because she looks very different than her first appearance. Because it's been so long, the art style has changed so much. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I think it's her." Yeah, that's always been a bit of an issue. Okay, but what things aren't issues? But yeah, I liked all the cute stuff with Toka and Kaneki when she's getting Borgar, and then Nishiki like drops a hint, and then he like runs over to the place and is like, "How are you feeling?" And she's like, "I'm cool." And then he notices the calendar and she punches him out of the place.
In the Omake for this volume, I think there's like a speed comparison of characters, and the Kaneki's run beats the Nimu dash from Furuta.
He had a very funny walking pose too. He looked like Roro from Uma Musume walking, where he just had like arms
other
straight.
Good things. Freaking Psycho, I don't know what it is, but every time he draws her, she just gets more and more attractive.
Green just fucking being so hot for a Psycho is really funny.
Well, come on, she
made some
cute.
very funny face. I don't really find her cute, but you do you. I'm not saying she's not cute, but I have plenty of other choices I would take over her in a fucking heartbeat in the manga.
I don't remember.
I would take Hanami, I would take Toka, I would take Roma, I would take most people.
Even though it's revealed that she's
51 Even though she's
years
I
old
know,
now.
she's a hag, but she doesn't look like it. Yeah. She's like a shinobu.
I don't remember what exact panel it was, but there was a drawing of her this time that was just from like a
she had some very
unique angle where she was kind of curled up. I was like, oh, that's cute.
She had some really goofy, like screamy faces. Actually, there's a lot of like very funny looking like shouty faces this stretch. Urie has some really good ones. The what are they called? The Ogari or whatever the
Ogari?
The Ogai have some good shouting faces in this. There's lots of there's lots of
crazy.
There's lots of retards screeching in very funny ways. Oh, this is good. Someone edited I'm the are you a virgin, but it's her saying I'm pregnant and he's dropping 50 cups of coffee. She's got like a mandala of fucking coffee. It's just streaming everywhere.
He looks like the Buddha.
Oh yeah.
That is funny.
Okay, this is one of my favorite sections. I really like Urie and Eyebrows guy's dad just like launching an inquiry. Finally someone fucking does something about Furuta, and it's like the weirdest team up, just like two guys who are just I mean, I've always enjoyed the dynamic with Urie and Eyebrows guy. I always like that thing of like he's like really seething and like has a complex toward him, and the other guy just is like super friendly, and we find out here he just thinks Urie is like the coolest guy. We kind of knew that a bit. He was like really nice in like that Christmas letter he wrote and stuff, but yeah, basically the guy's dad just up is like, oh yeah, Urie, my son always says you're the coolest, and this whole time Urie has just been like seething. So now it's nice to see Urie be like, I'm gonna help him out basically because his wife is gonna be fucking executed for no reason.
Yeah, this stretch, there was
some
so
human
strange.
pathos.
It's like he suddenly realized, oh, if I give characters
there was some good
and those
motivations.
tasks relate to their personality and what they want on a personal level, suddenly I can make them do things that are interesting, and I don't need 50 characters doing backflips and clown masks.
Like on top of people fighting just because one side is humans and one side is ghouls, they also have like more personal stakes in each combat. Yeah, I agree.
I've been thinking of, I am happy on some level. It's too little, too late, because even if the ending is good, the ending is going to be good in a way where it completely disregards the middle 75% of the manga.
I don't think it was that long. I think it felt that long because it was like split up podcast sessions. I don't think it's like the island bit and like the next sections of CCG banter for me. It's not. It's like It's like 40 chapters at most,
like 50,
out of 180.
Okay, maybe
that's
the middle.
That's not a majority.
40% or
yeah,
something.
it's something
but,
like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I might be exaggerating, but the ending might be good, but it's going to be good in a way where it's good specifically because it goes against what the story's been doing up until now.
Yeah, okay.
I have been doing some thinking, and two things I've noticed. It seems like the ending is they're trying to go for this thing where it's about the large scale, humans and ghouls coexisting, and Kaneki wants to create a world where ghouls and humans can just live amongst each other without constant violence, and they can reach an understanding. The problem is we have seen almost none of that for most of Re. Re has been almost entirely focused just on the conflict between a government organization, a group of ghouls, and random other groups of ghouls and ghoul adjacent people that fight each other in the streets. We've seen very, very, very little of mainstream human society and them interacting with the conflict between ghouls and non-ghouls in aggregate. Like, we've only seen the ghoul cops basically, and that isn't a stand-in for
we used
all
to
society.
See that a lot more in part 1, I think.
Yeah, but it was always very small scale. It was just individual
it was like college
humans.
Life usually.
The thing that's bugging me is we got all this politics over the course of Re. We got so many scenes of people sitting around in rooms discussing who they're allied with and who's going to kill who owes who, things like that, just constantly explaining the conflict. If he wanted to have so much politics and so much group level exposition in the story, why didn't he zoom out and have a bunch of scenes of the civilian politicians and the leaders of institutions other than the anti-ghoul fighting force, and show them debating and show them talking on TV and show them, talking with the common people, and maybe there's a political party that's open to talking to ghouls or something like that.
It could
I feel like only zooming in on the anti-ghoul secret police death camp kill squads and their internal politics, it completely, I think it was way too narrow. If where he was going with this is it's about humans in general and ghouls in general.
You're saying it's more like it seems like it wants to be like a society story, but he presented it more as like a war story almost, where he just has
a war story or a gang versus cops.
It could have
story
been something like
way.
There's better examples, but I'm thinking like Bokurano, for example. Like Bokurano shows a lot of like they're very different series, but I'm just thinking like you see a lot of like the how the weird out supernatural, well, it's sci-fi in that case, but the weird thing affects everyday life. Like you see the public outcry more, and random violence from citizens. It's not just having to worry about the big bad robot that comes every week and stuff like that. Or
the frustration is just kind of Kaneki is suddenly zooming out in scope to, I'm going to negotiate a peace between the races or something. But Kaneki, I don't think he's interacted with anyone once who would be in a position to even begin addressing that. Like the anti-ghoul police chief, like his whole job is killing you. You can't talk with him. And even if you get rid of him, he's just the leader of like one tiny organization. Like, he doesn't represent society in general. No one values his fucking opinion.
Sure. I mean, they kind of gone.
And I'll quickly move on. I think a second point, I think this ties into it. I think legit one of Ree's biggest problems at this point is they just didn't fixate on eating enough. Because the entire core concept of the problem with the ghouls is they have to eat human flesh, and we saw so much of that in Tokyo Ghoul Re, where them just trying to acquire food was a big part of it. Like, this Tokyo Ghoul should have been B-stars. Like, and now that we're reaching the end, they're actually trying to go for a B-stars conclusion, kind of. Tokyo Ghoul should have literally just been B-stars, but with ghouls, where it becomes about the underground food networks and people trying to eat each other. Like, the eating has been downplayed for a long time. And also, look, now that Toka's back, we're suddenly talking about eating again and how, oh, she's pregnant, she has to eat human flesh and stuff, and the eating is in the center again, and suddenly the characters are just more interesting.
that's
I will give people a chance to respond because I just rambled, but
there's some
I think those are like the two
that,
big things that kind of derailed Re for a long time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've been surprised when both of you said that you like this part more than the previous ones. I think it is the consensus that this is the least liked arc in all of Tokyo Ghoul.
Well, fuck them.
I think
wrong.
Normal Tokyo Ghoul fans are way more interested in the like fighting power thing than me and Green are more interested in the ghoul mechanics and mystery stuff, kind of more, or not intrigue.
Large number of people were like very upset about the off-screening of the Kaneki and Suzuya fight.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. That reminded me of a Katana Gatari. Yeah, that was very Katana Gatari.
Oh right, yeah, with the teasing thing.
The water sword guy. Yeah, I didn't mind that at all. Like most of my favorite stuff in. Like I like the sex scene in Tokyo Ghoul more than like almost every fight scene. It's like more interesting. I was gonna say I like the stretch sort of related to the societal thing, but it addressed something I had brought up when I was like ranting at one of these when I was annoyed at like the CCG. Its existence is like even a system making no sense. They kind of address that where Urie points out how like he mentions how like the Washu family has way too much power and all they need to do is essentially expose what is happening in the CCG to the normal agencies in Japan, and then they're all chomping at the bit to be able to so they addressed that like the way CCG operates is incongruous with the rest of this being like a real world modern day Japan where everything is very strict and guidelined and supervised, and we have this wacky building where a clown can just like orchestrate mass genocides, and they're like, oh yeah, that's only the case basically because this is a very old powerful family, I guess, and they keep everything under wraps really well. So that was, it's a bit of a hand wave, but it explains, but it at least addresses my issue, and they're like, yeah, that is weird. I mean, if people find out, that would be fucked up.
On that topic, it is gradually bugging me more and more where because he wants to draw something that looks cool or he just needs a location, he keeps just by fiat generating locations that would have taken, I don't know, like 10 million man hours of labor to create and run and operate.
Underneath Tokyo
world. Yes.
Yeah,
there's no fucking underground city.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that's like really stupid.
I did wonder about that. They're like skyscrapers. That's why I said Tokyo 3 earlier. I was like, oh, it's like fucking Ava. Yeah. Now it's like, what? Did no one notice this? Did a sewer worker go down there and take photos and send them on WhatsApp to someone? Hey, there's a ghoul city down here before he got murdered. That's like, whoa.
That whole
so
spread
is
great. It also gets like it has basically almost no plot relevance at all, and it's like an aborted.
That's true. He is into. I never thought of that, but you're right, Green. He is really into like mega architecture, like really distant stone pillars and giant rooftops. Yeah.
The evil dark bad guy when he's announcing we're going to kill every ghoul, as if that wasn't the plot of the story from chapter 1.
Technically, it wasn't. Because I mean, this is like nitpicking, but the whole thing with the Washu was just to like basically, since they were ghouls themselves, just to stay in power and have power.
It was like keeping the ecosystem like balanced.
It was just to maintain it forever.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that in like a canon way, that makes sense. But I really. The author just flip-flopping on people's motivations dozens of times in the middle of the manga. I'm not that interested in the implications of that. It's just like the maybe at a plot level it makes sense that he said that, but on like an emotional reading the manga level, seeing someone say we're going to kill every ghoul as if it's like important just feels baffling to me.
It's like
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, this is the guy who this arc he started reading Shonen Jump in the middle
he's reading Gintama. And
he's reading Gintama in the middle of like a giant ghoul fight. So he just obviously doesn't give a shit. I mean, I kind of love him. It's annoying because he's like the figurehead for the nosedive of Ri, where when he showed up and had that like zany thing where he used people as body shields, that's when it started to sour for me. But
I still like that. But later on.
That moment was fine. But it's just interesting that when he shows up is like when things start to, when the shift goes, it marks kind of like the shift from like the Qs and Sasaki to more of this like big clown story, and it's like he is kind of like, he can be infuriating, but he is also, I kind of love just his like silly irreverence leads to so many like kind of hilarious moments of just over the topness where it's almost like he's just like, I don't know, it's like he's trying to use the power of memes to conquer the world or something. He just does things that are so over top and ridiculous that they would never work, and he does them so hard that they do work. It's hard to explain, like, but it's like entertaining to watch. He like makes an army of clone Kanekis, and he like plans 40 chests that he will consume them, and his plan is like kill all the ghouls, even though I am a ghoul, because it's just like but you can explain that with just like, I don't know, clown philosophy, and he's just like a weird, like, hates the world because he's like a unloved bastard child, and he just wants to see everything rot.
I'm sure that all makes sense, but like, I just can't be bothered. It's like watching a rom-com where the main girl's like, I'm gonna fuck the main guy for 50 chapters, then in the middle she's like, I'm gonna fuck that guy actually, I'm gonna fuck that guy actually,
I'm just saying I've kind of come around.
then in chapter 80 she goes, I'm gonna fuck the main character, and it's framed as this like really important moment where it's like, that was what we, at least emotionally, that's what we started with. Like, that's not I won't harp on it. I won't harp on it too much. I'm the fool.
I want to go back to the. There was a lot of.
What were we about to say?
I was talking about the Urie fight, and I was saying there was a lot of fun stuff in that. I liked the dynamic of like Urie, who've been with for a long time, and like old investigator from part 1, just armed with like a sword. Against, I didn't like much how Roma turned into like a giant goofy ghoul. I don't.
And she looks like that one Pokemon.
Yeah, she looks like a. Oh yeah, I know which one you mean. I can't remember his name. It was Swallet or something. The Gulpin. That's it. The fucking. Yeah, that I'm not a big fan of like, I was okay with like just one ghoul turning into like a giant weird monster. Just Eto was fine. Now finding out there's like another one is a bit, I don't really like that. I mean, you said before it becomes silly how like ghoul powers become basically anything, like they can just take whatever form. But that aside, it was a fun fight just for how, I gotta say, this stretch was like really fucking violent, and I mean that in a good way. Like, there was a lot of like gruesome like people getting like blades stuck through their faces and like decapitations, and it's always been a violent manga, but this time it really like keyed in on like, he really took his time like detailed drawing like people getting like their fucking teeth knocked in and a scythe through the head, and their eyeballs exploded. Roma takes like a fucking blade right through the middle of the face, and that weird like clown thing gets like a weird like bulgy neck broken face. There was a lot of like close up detailed gore in this stretch, which I'm cool with. I mean, it's a violent show. I like that fight a lot. I liked Urie's like his like internal like realization thing where he's all of his past regrets and thinking back on, he misses the good old days with the Qs like I do.
Yeah.
And his sword and shield was really cool. And then that was fucked up when Furuta got up and just stabbed the other guy through the neck. And then we got the wackiest fucking batshit part when fucking Marude just comes back with his squad. Furuta jumps out the window, and then the fucking Matsuri Washu jumps off a building with no pants on, with a fucking sword, and Furuta calls him a homo as they're falling off off a thing, and then he's like, "Urie, my friend, it's been a while," and Urie's like, "I'm not even gonna fucking acknowledge this. This is so fucking ridiculous. What is happening?" He
also still has like the scar on his head where you got
he had like a sword scar for when he got his head sliced, but that's what I mean by like me just like giving into that was like so over the top and silly where I wasn't even mad. I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? It's kind of so stupid. It's good where it's just like, yeah, okay, we're not getting this in any other fucking manga. He gets shot and he's going like like fucking and he does the same pose his dad did when he got shot in the head.
His brother actually.
His brother. Sorry, I thought. Yeah, okay, that's right. He's a bastard of their father, not of him. That was like the ending of Blood Debts when the guy pulls out the PVC rocket launcher out of his sleeve and explodes Bill. Just like it's so wacky that I was just clapping. So yeah, that was a good fight. I like that. And Roma's dead. I mean, she got an interesting backstory. I don't know how I feel about her being like the revealed clown leader. Kind of feels like there was a couple reveals during this bit where I was just like, okay. I was just like, fine, whatever. I don't have anything. It's not like it's like a plot hole or anything, but it's just like you could have had many answers to this question, and most of them I would have been equally like, sure, why not?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even like a question.
It's just like the whole time, I guess. Yeah, she was just like hanging. She was just like, I always find it weird. They kind of did that a bit with Eto, but it's always weird to me how like he really likes having the leaders of like groups and organizations like be there the whole time, like in the missions, and just exactly. He has them seem to be like kind of a bit player who get their ass kicked and don't have like big fight scenes, but then turns out they're just there because they just enjoy the frantic chaos of the situation. I'm like, sure, I guess. Cool. Anyway, I rambled for a bit there. What else happened, Green, that you liked, or Jaws?
I don't have that much more to say. If Jaws has a bit more, but we've been talking about half an hour. If you've got a bit more, cool, but I'm about done.
I mean, one thing I really like about this arc is specifically on reread, because when I read this arc the first time, I also didn't quite like it, but then I just like on reread, not this reread, but like a previous reread of this arc in particular. It becomes very apparent that it is set up to be this way in the previous arc. Like specifically the Takizawa conversation with Kaneki is like hinting a lot about how this arc is going to end, or how it's going to play out. And what I like about it is just the fact that Kaneki is presented as a terrible leader, and that that there was no other way that this situation could have played out. And I really like that little subversion. Like, it's not like Code Geass where like a teenager becomes the leader of a failing organization and magically turns it around. No, like if you put someone into the position of leader who doesn't want the job and who doesn't really care, of course everything goes to shit. We get to see that here and that.
Yeah, you're so right. I agree with you. Like he's always been more of like a symbol, like a beacon kind of person that people flock to, but then whenever stuff starts going, it's like Tsukiyama and others and Hinami and stuff kind of take the load of like the organizational stuff. Yeah, he's not the best at like split-second decision making because he's moved a lot by like, you know, emotional thing and what feels like urgent in the moment. It is satisfying to see like someone just get like just lose there. I did like I enjoyed one aspect of these chapters. I enjoyed quite a lot was like the narration, where it was like, I don't know, it usually that could feel like too much text or something, but this time it felt like the right amount of like drama was being given to things, where it's talking about how like Suzuya's squad is this like has become this kind of like insurmountable unit, and how everyone's odds are awful, and you know, we get to see that. We get to see Naki die, which is was a good death.
Do you want the bad news now or later?
Oh no, not again. Why does Naki keep doing this? Okay, fine, whatever. I thought Yomu might have died in this part. It would have been fine for him to. I do think he's a bit.
Fine if he died here,
I do think he's a bit too attached to. It was a cool like. I mean, I saw, as soon as I saw water on the floor, I was like, oh, she's getting electrocuted. But it wasn't a surprise. But still, I just think he sometimes is a bit too. I don't need like people to be dying constantly in stories, but I do think it's fine to kill off characters who are their service to the story is not that important at the moment. Like, it would have been fine if like the guy who backs up Suzuya died. At least we got to see that Q's guy get his neck snapped. That was nice. I mean, I like these last fight scenes. They were dramatic. Like I liked all the like
Hinami versus Suzuya is
Hinami
really
exactly. Like I liked all the going into the characters' heads this time. Felt very like deserved. I liked Naki's like
that was the best part.
Yeah, I like Naki's diatribes about like, oh, if I had known more words and stuff. I liked Hinami's like flashbacks to Kaneki and thinking about how like so many people have protected her and she's like made Kaneki make so many choices on her behalf. We had Kaneki's a big one where he just has that flashback with all of his former selves. Those are all highlights. Really good artwork. Yeah, just solid stretch. I was entertained. It was probably I was thinking maybe I should have done this in previous weeks, but if I was to choose what was my favorite this week, Tokyo Ghoul was my favorite out of the three this week.
Oh my god.
Before I forget it, because I've mentioned this in previous podcasts. This is the arc with the specific Hunter x Hunter reference. When we get to the Kaneki inner monologue thingy, when we see Suzuya and Kaneki in the arena setting, like a direct
oh, that's Heaven yeah, okay.
Given that Ishida has written the Hisoka one shot for Togashi. Mm-hmm. He said like that Togashi gave him the original drawing.
Like cool! The actual sheet.
The mask, or however you would call it. Like the scribbly thingy for that scene.
Cool.
And I guess that's why he referenced it.
That's nice. That's a nice gift. I like that. I also like the just last thing to mention. I enjoyed the wedding sequence too. Really nice artwork. I'm glad they went through with it and showed it, and that we got some fun stuff there. Yeah, just I liked it. I mean, I'm surprised there's still like 40 chapters to go, because it really felt like so much stuff is like wrapping up.
It's almost done. We're like 2 weeks and we're done with it.
Okay.
Go
on.
I was gonna say I think we should move on, but I was gonna just tag on Michi saying I think the fights were better, and I think a big part of it is just people have clear things they're fighting. The fights are more directly related to the goals.
They even
rather than just fights upon fights upon fights, a character expresses a clear reason for fighting. It's relatively small in scale. They'd have the fight and then that's it. It isn't like a gratuitous continual thing.
Yeah, they even took the time to address Suzuya's motivation, which I thought was very nice. Because like in the past we've been like, Suzuya's kind of weird because he's always been like kind of a main character and has been like a friendly force, but sometimes it seems like he's only fighting just cuz. But this time I'm glad they took the time to specifically be like he's got his senpai in a coma and he's doing this because he thinks, I mean, it's obviously kind of manipulation on Furuta's part, but it was welcome to be like, oh, that makes sense why he would be fighting so hard against Toka. Yeah, good job.
Oh right,
Ishida.
Yeah. With that, we also got the flower reveal. Who was bringing Shinohara flowers in the?
Wait, who was it? I missed who it was.
Toka.
Oh, it was Toka. Okay.
Yeah. But it's never explained how she knew that Shinohara was in that hospital.
Also, hilarious last page where they zoom in on... No, not that one. They zoom in on the little pictures of who is on each area. Earlier, they show a map with the little heads of who is in each area, which is a staple, and then he like zooms in on that, and the Kaneki one is missing, and it's like, oh shit! That's like so weirdly meta in like a confusing manga way. Yeah. Okay.
One last thing, and then we definitely move on. In the first translation, the legless and armless Kaneki was described as a nugget instead of a ballerina. It's spawned the nugget Kaneki meme.
No, he's Pillow Man. Yeah. Okay. To Your Eternity, chapter 35, I think we started on.
34 to 52.
34.
I think.
Jananda Island or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, it was actually good.
It was so good.
I like this once again more than the previous.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm surprised. I like this slightly less than the Gugu arc, so I was worried you guys would. I'm happy to see you guys.
I gotta say, Gugu was a much stronger character than the new person this time.
That's how I feel.
But the overall story was quite good.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that. I was worried you guys might be feeling down on it or something. That's cool. It's a bit repetitive. It's like a weird structure, but I like it. Yeah.
I gotta say,
the repetitiveness is the weird part about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna give the manga some credit. Like we said before, these scenarios he gets into, we've all seen situations like this. You know, nothing is ever totally groundbreaking. He is the author. The author, the office is very, very good at just finding a way to twist things around and have her own unique spin on it that keeps it feeling fresh. Where logically, yes, have I seen slave islands and prison break escapes and banished societies? Am I aware of Australia as a concept? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think,
but it doesn't feel like anything else I've seen straight down the line. You know, it's
we said earlier Golden Kamui because of like more surface level elements, but that is another situation where it's similar to Golden Kamui in that the part of the appeal, I think, is not so much in each individual situation being interesting, but that there is a manga that has all of these situations in it strung together. And I don't want to spoil stuff, but as we get farther in, it's like it changes so much what type of story it is at every arc that you're like, how are these all part of the same story? And it doesn't feel like incongruous, where it's like you can because you have the thread of Fushi, it all comes together well. It's like an anchor through the thing. So yeah, we're on it's a prison island. Everyone is a criminal, and Fushi has been brought here deliberately by, I'm forgetting her name. Something with a T. Tonari, aka Nadia of the Blue Water. That's who she reminds me of always.
I really like her design.
Yeah, she's really cute. She's got some good faces. I mean, she's interesting. Like, again, continuing with the theme of like Fushi experiencing new facets of human living. He had a mom. He was a pet, then he had a mom, then he had a family. Now he's like experiencing like the darker sides of society, and he's learning some complicated concepts. And you know, even with like booze men and stuff, he was mostly been surrounded by like nice people trying to do nice things. Now he's confused because everyone here is like an asshole, and he finds out that the lady he's been hanging out with has poisoned 10 people, and it's a criminal, and he's like, oh. there's some very good lines pertaining to that. I really like the moment when because the whole beginning of this, she's trying to get him on her side because she wants to She wants him to like turn the island on its head because she hates this place. And I really like that line when he's like, "I'm leaving. You guys are fucked up in the head. How could you smile in this place?" And then she just starts laughing and just walks off. I really like that moment. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that he is like wrestling with here that are stuff that I find interesting, like ideas of like people being wholly good or bad, if certain people deserve to die or not, you know, and the worthlessness and things like that. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I like, once again, that things. I mean, I've said this many times. I like it when things are connected and we get a connection back to the first arc. Two ways.
Oh yeah.
With him getting the being able to turn into, what's her name?
Perona. Yeah. Yeah, that's a sad thing that happens over and over, is him realizing someone is dead because he turns into them. Is always very sad. Yeah, and it's fucked up too. It's not even like an accident thing. It's like we're told literally she was stabbed in the fucking neck and choked out on her own blood, I guess. I mean, she could be lying, I guess, but
she died some way, but
yeah, she died some way. We don't know if how bad it was, but it's fucked up. And we got this, and it's nice to see a character from first arc too, because March has been missing since that Knocker took it. Another connection to the first arc, which I thought was cute and a really keen eye for detail, was when Fushi produces a banquet of food, which is always funny, especially in a starting society. The noodles he remembers are very tasty, but they're full of like roofies, like they put people to sleep because when he ate it, knocked him out.
Yeah, in my notes I actually have poison ramen as a hell of a callback.
Yeah, that's great. Like that took a second, but then when you realize it's like, fuck, yeah.
It's also genius because it primes you subconsciously to remember the villain from that arc who's about to come back.
Exactly.
Because you've just barely had enough time to forget about her, but you see the poison ramen, it's like, wait, who? Why? Oh yeah, that's right, that one bitch did that, and then she shows up again.
Yeah, I was not expecting her. Yeah, first time I read this, I did not have her front of mind for sure. It was curious in hindsight that they never fully confirmed she was dead. They got as close as they could. I wish I could.
I'm sure only shot through the arm or hand. Was the last we saw?
Oh yeah, that's right. We saw her. Oh yeah, that's right. I was thinking last we saw her was when she got mauled by the bear. But you're right. When we saw her, she got her an arrow from Perona. Yeah, what's her name? Hayase? Hayase. Yeah. What do you guys think of her as like a character?
I really like that she's like this obsessed person.
You're gonna like the next arc then, because it just grows in hilarity from there. Yeah,
her motivations do feel like they kind of come out of nowhere, or it's just a very sudden escalation on her character's part. It's not so much that I can't buy it.
Yeah,
it is a little crazy that it goes from, oh, I'm doing my duty and taking care of this threat or something, and then immediately jumps to, I must possess the transforming bear man and fuck him. And I want him to absorb me and turn into me, and then I can be him forever. It's like, people like that exist. I just didn't realize she was one of them until now.
It's over the top.
The turning point is when she gets like completely mauled by the bear. Yeah. Because after that she has like this crazy expression on her face all the time.
I think part of it's more layered than this, but I think an interesting part of it, I think, is that because she is someone who is so violent, she can only interpret things through like power and violence. So getting so destroyed by someone, it like, to her that like creates like a love connection, and it's almost
like Mutsuki.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it is like Mutsuki. You're right. Yeah, it's kind of like that, and then she has this weird. She doesn't really see the difference between like. She sees no disconnect between like loving him and stabbing him in the eye and like cutting him up horribly, and also wanting him to kill her. Like, she just understands affection through violence, essentially. which makes sense with her probably very violent kind of upbringing and very ruthless nature. She's an interesting character, I think.
Interesting. I don't know if we will see like the Knocker version of her or whatever. Like her fate is not 100% clear right now.
I'm a little bummed that they had the Knocker take her over as she left, because she was a character who, seemed kind of interesting, and if she just loses her personality immediately, that's going to be a bit of a bummer. But
I mean, it's fine if she's only in 2 arcs. I like that she came back, but she doesn't have to be there for the...
Yeah, but she wasn't that interesting the first time she showed up.
The hardest that I have ever bit it.
Bite it harder. I want to mail to me tomorrow.
Okay. I only have to wait a week. It's cool.
It's just a little bummed, because she got so much more interesting, and now she's kind of going away. I like that some characters come back.
Yes.
I think there's a decent chance Tonari's going to come back. Shut up.
I'm not saying nothing. Don't look at any of the covers for any of the volumes ever, please.
You're goddamn right. Well, don't do
it.
God damn it! Why do you fucking always spoil shit?
I did not spoil anything. I didn't say it's about Tonari. I'm saying generally for any character, don't look at any of the fucking covers, because you will see something and you'll go, "What?" Yeah.
After Jaws, after like a year, at close to the 2 years of constantly stockpiling vague threats towards Michi, I was with him for a whole week, and I didn't cash in one of them. I didn't hit him a single time. And now he's already back. I was too soft on him, and this is the result.
Lies. The fuck. Anyways, I love that. I love that final scene with her and the boat, though. I mean, the Knocker thing aside, I really like her like confession and just like the implication that she kind of trained to be really strong so she would be a good form for him. It is fun, and then
she killed Perona also for him to take that.
It's also like a jealousy thing of like killing other girls that have interacted with Fushi, even though Fushi's not even a guy, but just like anyone who would be who he likes, basically. I really like that move where he just steps off the boat, makes another boat, just like drinks away, and he's like, "I hate you, and I won't think anything when you die." That's so mean, but it's like, but like Tonari says, she likes that Fushi isn't just like this emotionless husk of an immortal being. There's stuff that he can't forgive. He gets angry. He can feel rage and vengeance too. Like that's the part of him that is really human, and that's part of we had a bit of that in the Gugu arc too, kind of like understanding that there is something human in his core. It's unclear if that's just from the forms he takes, or that he's learned that from speech or from interaction with people. He's gained feelings, but it's interesting just seeing him become more and more robust and worldly is a really cool aspect of the
also,
series.
He is just stockpiling actual physical powers pretty quick.
Yeah.
He already has a flame attack from training the Gugu. Now he can just generate arrows with gunpowder.
Explosive arrows. That was so cool. That was so clever, because I didn't think of it until the second it happened, where they're like, "We've run out of gunpowder." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then he's like, "No, it's okay." It just pours a bunch, and it's like, "Oh right, I forgot about that." Yeah, he can just break the laws of physics forever.
Things that I don't like about this arc, or that make it like a little worse. One is like it feels like plot points are repeated a whole ton, like people getting captured and abducted and fleeing, and people getting put to sleep. I think there's like 6 instances of people getting put to sleep
that's also my least favorite aspect of it. Is a lot of like the mechanics of like how the arena system works, and the fact that like whenever someone wins, they just get like murdered, kind of, and just going back and forth between the arena and people like people squabbling with
Yushi has drank the emperor.
Okay. Yeah, I know. You're right. It is like that. The like Josh said, there's just like so many scenes that happen more than once. People squabbling with Tonari's group, and then there being like a big mob fight scene, and then things going back to normal. Fushi having an argument, running off to meet with old lady, and then coming back. The people, him getting captured, and then just making a copy and fucking off. It is a bit weird. People getting on boats and getting off of boats to like a comical extent. The actual like moment to moment thing is it's a very weird arc because it's just people running around this nonsensical island back and forth. But I think the emotional things and the character things keep it strong enough. There's
also like a little bit of a sort of pacing issue in some specific scenes. Like the one I think like comes to most to my mind is when Fushi spares Hayase in the bear form once again, and then he like walks off and talks with like the Tonari and her group, and then Hayase just almost like she teleported to that scene, and it's like, what, did I miss something? But no, it's
that also like when she wins the arena and then nominates Tonari as king, emperor, whatever the fuck, that felt very Pariston to me, and I got a chuckle out of that on reread. Like Pariston wins and then nominates Cheadle and then resigns as chairman. He's just like fucks off. I think the arena stuff does have some amusing stuff in it. I like Fushi's like. I like the difference between the fights where like in the first one the guy just can't do anything and just gives up, and then I like his technique of like at first he just like gets like a bunch of stuff stuck in him and doesn't give a shit. Then he starts like generating axes all over himself to block attacks as like a really funny thing. There's like a cool fight scene when he fights Hayase, and there's like that really cool shot where she like throws an arrow and he makes an axe to deflect it. And then it is the kind of a clever use because it's set up before that we know that Hayase uses
just
sleeping agents. That's true. If you're immortal, it doesn't matter if you can't beat her and then she just puts you to sleep, you still lose. So that was a clever workaround, like how she would defeat an immortal. Stuff. The knockers becoming zombies is also really fucking scary. Like that was a lot of bloodshed. I don't know. I feel that was more gory and gruesome than stuff we've had so far. Like
it was a little much.
Yeah,
like, it felt like a very sudden escalation. And
like just having like all these kid characters getting like we see them like with arms missing and just having to stab each other. That was.
And there was that part where Yushi, because Tonari was like having this weird mental block, he just like squeezed her breast really hard.
That didn't
to convince her.
No, you're
What?
You're thinking of High School of the Dead again, Green.
What?
I've told you about
way.
this. Stop doing that every day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What did we think of Tonari's like backstory with her dad and all
I
that
like
stuff?
the stuff with her father.
You like it?
really
Okay,
cool.
that's cool.
It's real enough, you know.
Also,
people make shit up. They tell themselves lies to get through the day.
Her dad looks like Donovan from Berserk.
Yeah, I thought the
same thing. Yeah, I will say his name is really goofy. Like that always sounds really stupid when she like that moment of like people running around. So who won the fight? Oh, it was like Egar D something, and then she goes to the boat and it's like a note from your father, Egan D, and then turn around and he's right there on the floorboards. Like, sorry, I got poisoned. That's a bit like the tone and pace of that is a bit like I don't know, feels a bit comical to me, but it's fine.
Yep.
I like that you guys like Tonari as a character. I like all her moments of like of her like coming to regret like bringing Fushi and realizing he's not just like a means to an end. And I like that moment a lot where she's like very sad. She's like, what do I have to do for you to like me? Like that's really I thought that was very like real and
yeah.
And having
my first note for this section was not expecting kawaii slave driver.
Yeah, she has lots of cute faces. It turns out that she's
not directly related, but yeah. Also, she has like a Higurashi face relatively early.
She has like a smug face. She has like a scary face. Yeah.
Yeah, they do one early on where they zoom in on her and her mouth is all crooked and her eyes are all crazy.
Oh yes, yeah. That's when she starts laughing. When she starts laughing like crazy, yeah, the first face, she has like a dead, like a soulless look on her eyes.
Yeah, I like Tonari. Also, big props for being the first like arc sidekick to not get fucking killed by the end.
Yeah,
you know,
good. Yeah. We still got the obligatory like friends die scene, but it was mostly the garbage pail kids who got murdered.
I really like the inclusion of the folding chair as a weapon.
Oh yeah, she keeps every shot of that character. She hits someone with a fucking chair. Even the knocker gets hit with a chair.
Tonari.
Wrong chip.
I think she had a lot of potential to be insufferable, and
she could have been
She's not as good as Gugu.
You spend a lot of time with Gugu. You get to see Gugu grow from
the MVP for a while.
Yeah, you get to see Gugu grow from a little kid to like a buff bro. Yeah. I love Gugu.
I think part of what makes her work. It will be annoying if there are many characters like this, but I like how aggressively the story refuses to play into the stereotype of how it should go, where she's trying to be the quirky, adorable, random side character for this episode, and Fushi just keeps giving her the backhand and saying no, we're not. Go be cute somewhere else, fuck off, I have shit to do. And she's also obsessed with stories and her own story, so she's trying to be a character in the story, and he keeps telling her no. And I find that find that funny, where her arc is fighting her way into actually being accepted as one of the characters.
I find
part of it.
Pyoren as like a narrative point in the story so far always very amusing, because it's the kind of thing where she seems like completely disposable to the reader, because she's just like this random old lady who had a nose hair growing out, and March laughed at her, and then she's gone from that to being like Fushi's only kind of central point in this world.
Yeah,
where
she's the deuteragonist.
Yeah, she's a complicated like criminal poisoner lady who's lived really long and is like skeevy and mischievous, but she's also clearly cares a lot about him and has had lots of moments with him. Like I like that moment a lot where he in this arc he like becomes a mole and then uses March to scale up the walls and jumps into her arms and is a dog and all that stuff is really good.
I think he lost the mole form. That made me sad.
I think so. Yeah,
that was the most powerful form.
Yeah,
that was good. When I this is a minor thing and it becomes more interesting later, but I enjoy progressively his relationship with the shadowy cloaked figure, where they become like kind of more amicable, and he starts like warning about stuff, and he's like, oh, change out of that form. And then there's like that interesting conversation in the cave where he's learning about like what gods and devils are, and he's like kind of conflicted about if that thing is even like his parent or not. Yeah, there's a lot of neat stuff. I don't think I have a lot more to say about this arc. I'm happy you guys liked it. I'm really excited for the next stretch because it's very odd. Yeah.
Few little thoughts. I mean, I kind of said this, but when this manga started, I was not expecting him or her to draw so many little adorable waifus and that to be a running theme. I did not think that super cute girls was going to be a constant. And it's not even just a character who happens to be cute. It's like
the manga.
we get like a waifu every arc who even has a slightly different art style than the people around her, just to look really precious and adorable. I was not expecting that. And this is just a thing. I don't know why. I just noticed there are several places in this where Tonari is given awkward framing. And because she's in it so much, they focus on different parts of her body. So there are several panels in here where it just shows Tonari's crotch, and then there's a speech bubble saying what she's saying. Like, It's not important. It's just I feel like that's not something I see a lot.
It is interesting.
Yeah, given that's like a female author, and she still shows those angles.
I don't even think it's meant to be sexual. I feel like she's just going,
she flexes a lot of drawing everything from every angle, basically.
On this page 3 different times. I don't want to draw her face again. I'll just show her shorts. And then it looks like a speech bubble's coming out of her butt, which
part
is
of that. That was part of me buying this on like a whim, was just like the juxtaposition of like ooh cutesy moe faces with like berserk Vinland Saga looking backgrounds, almost like the artwork
I mentioned
is so detailed
earlier.
Yeah, it's like that, and there's a lot of like realistic looking faces and detailed looking faces too, but it's like she has so many different forms of like cutesiness where she just puts it and it works somehow. It's a really interesting art style. Like I find it very fascinating. More of that to come for sure.
Well, yeah. Are we going to move on then?
We can talk about, unless someone else has anything else to talk about, we can talk about Biscuit Hammer.
Yeah, I decided Michi is right. This manga sucks.
I agree that this stretch is definitely weaker.
Yeah, I am going
Michi
from
wins.
I am starting the transition from it's going to get better to it's going to get better ?
Well, dude,
I will still maintain the stuff I remember liking from the manga the most, the things that are most memorable. Their scenes later, after the squad's all together and some of the big fights happen, and the violence starts to have real consequences. That's the stuff that I think about and care about more. I will admit, it is the slow, awkward beginning is going for longer than I remember. And we are now a significant portion into the manga, and it feels like there's nothing I can point to and be proud of yet.
I mean, I like the beginning, like not of this stretch, but the first stretch that we covered. I really like the beginning parts of the manga. But yeah, this stretch is probably the weakest, I guess. I don't remember. Like
there is hope, because a big part of what makes the manga good ? Is the group dynamic once the characters are all playing off of each other. And now we're getting to the point where we actually do have most of the characters now.
Yeah, we have almost all of them.
We're basically there.
I'm going to say
with Horse Guy. Do you like Horse Guy?
Let me just say this. Okay. Hilarious that you guys are more down on this part, because I actually like this part more.
Get out. Go away.
I didn't. I still don't really. I still don't really like the manga, but maybe just because it was less chapters, I found more stuff to like in this stretch. Number one, the artwork is better. That's the most important.
Okay.
It is.
I think it's
obviously yes.
Okay, you're wrong. Next thing.
There's so many panels with just blank backgrounds.
Oh yeah, but that's always been the case. He always has that.
It's more this stretch, I feel like.
I mean, sure, but he's actually learned how to use his fucking G pen. Like, there's actual. This is not something normally people pick up on, but he's actually using the original one. He uses this like scratchy same thickness line work for the entire thing. Now he's started to do the scoop thing around the people's faces. He actually is using the variable like line width, which is the whole point of using a nib for drawing manga. So he's learned how to use that. I'm saying the quality of each individual drawing is better. There's less jank ones. He still doesn't understand how bodies work. Everyone is like really lank and weird. There's like a shot of Sami Dare where she's like in her underwear, and I swear her body is 2/3 legs. She has like like 2/3 legs, and then her ass and torso and head occupies the last third at the top. Everyone's like really lanky and awkward and weird and flat butted still, but his actual like line work has gotten like better. He has like smoother, sharper lines. Everything was very scribbly in the first part, at least. Yeah, the backgrounds are an issue for sure. I felt that as I was reading it. I was like, where the fuck are the backgrounds? There's just like panel with the like speed lines. How do I like Horse Guy? He's he's fine like every other character in this fucking manga. He's like he's like, I don't know. I like his line about being unemployed. He's kind of a.
That's my favorite. Funny.
That's really what I mean.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. She's 1/3. She's 1/3 torso.
Hold on.
Her. This is 1/3, and then this is 2/3. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, her crotch is literally at like the 55%.
Yeah, it's above. Yeah, the middle is like here. I don't know.
I would catch that, and I am not a professional.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
Don't worry, I'm unemployed.
Don't worry, I'm unemployed. Yeah. I like the like lightning flash.
It'd be really funny if we responded to everything RA said for the next week with this.
Oh, well, I'm unemployed. Yeah, that'd be good.
He would get mad. So
he's gotten slightly better at drawing fight scenes and stuff. I'm gonna say I'm like 10% more positive. I'm still like, I still don't get what the big deal is, but I will say stuff I liked in this stretch. I enjoyed. Actually, what did I like? I liked everything to do. I liked the magician guy, the Magus Animus guy. I like how he just pops out of this sequence where he just pops out of the mouth of the monster and then like fucks off, and then how he shows up later and is like, would you like a chat on like a park bench? I find that funny. I enjoyed the like you were saying, like just getting all these new characters in, and it seems like it might be fun, like some of the dynamics between them. And I enjoyed the clever thing where the guy's wish was to grant his like fighting skill to the main character. I thought that was clever. I
actually assumed that you would be upset about that.
I am not upset. I am upset about the implementation slightly, just because it makes no sense to wish that someone gets your fighting powers and then they can't fight like you. Like, if I had made that wish, I would be pissed off, because that's what the point of my wish is, for him to be able to fight like me.
Well,
and they say like,
to wish customer service.
I don't get the logic of like, oh, he has the skills to fight like him, but he can't fight like him. I'm like, isn't that part of the skill, is to be able to fight?
It's like Sasuke with the Sharingan not being able to keep up with.
I guess so, but it's not the kind of power like martial arts isn't the kind of power where it's like that kind of thing. It's like knowing how to fight using martial arts is the power.
With the timing, what are the odds he got this idea from the Matrix?
Oh, maybe like downloading martial arts into you.
I know Kung Fu.
I don't know. I'm more curious about where you got the horse.
Yeah, I like how she says, like, this is my first horse.
Yeah. She's like, I've never seen. Yeah, she's like, I've never seen one before. I like the snake chick too.
Yeah, I mean that's grown up Nadeko.
Nadeko, not Nadeko. Yeah. Not Deco.
Bad Nadeko. A lot of these characters, again, I'm hoping I'm not imagining this because I'm going to feel like an asshole, but I do like that the characters are showing up, because I have fond memories of, some
yes,
of these.
I have.
Them having like a quirky little friend group is like half of the appeal of the manga.
Yeah. I gotta say,
like the main characters are not enough to carry this on their own, because they just don't have enough to do or to talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was happy. I think maybe I enjoyed this part more too because the sister wasn't around. Like, I find her annoying. Or a character annoying.
There's too much of the
like a lot of the characters I didn't care that much about are gone, like the sister and the dad, and I was never super into dead guy, or whatever the fuck, dog
Shirogane.
Something like that. Yeah, whatever, that guy. So like the fact that they're gone, like I enjoy. It's like not much more, but I slightly enjoy more like the spiky tooth fighty guy. The couple of lollies showed up. That's good. The fat cat guy, he seems cool. Like I'm happy to see these characters interact, and I would like to see them interact with the magician guy. I still don't think any of the characters is really like super interesting to me. I still think there's a lot of problems with like just things being slow, the pacing, the fight scenes are still like awkward and kind of like confusing. I still don't get like the stories. It seems to be like not going anywhere for now, but the fact that at least characters have shown up, and it seems like soon we might be getting some elucidation. I mean, it is kind of crazy that we're almost halfway through, and I still I'm no closer to knowing what the fuck is going on with the Knights, or why there's a Biscuit Hammer, or what the Magus is up to, or any of that stuff. Like, it's a short fucking manga. We're 23 out of 62 chapters in. So if next stretch that gets assuaged and we get more fun inter-character stuff, I might bring my thumb from sideways to up. So I think it's just
I'm now beginning to suspect that just all the good stuff will be in the next stretch then, because we are pretty far into it.
I mean, I'm fine with that. If it's just like one of those slow start manga, but then it makes up for it in the second 2/3, then I'll be pleased with that. I do think I think it annoys me, the chain thing, where it's like he keeps just like breaking and coming back and breaking and coming back to his fucking chain thing.
You actually kind of ruined that for me.
Sorry.
It's not like I love that, but after you said it's just the most obvious idea and also the most obvious possible implementation of that idea.
That's
and
what
then I looked at it and went, that is the most obvious possible implementation of the idea.
I feel that with a lot of stuff that people like praise about it. People are like, oh, this relationship, and I'm like, it's kind of the obvious thing if you try and do a reverse engineer something. Jaws was mentioning last time how he really thought like the close-up and panel layouts and stuff were like cool and original, and I was just like, they just seemed like the most obvious way to arrange characters in the each given situation, where it's just like left, right, face, three-quarter reverse face, close-up of the hand when the hand does something, close-up of the foot when the foot is about to do something. The stuff, it's like very cookie cutter how to make manga stuff. Like no pizzazz, there's no like expression. Like I just read like fucking Tokyo Ghoul Re, and it's like we have like insane brushstroke Urie going crazy pages, or the cool like really white kaneki on the black background, or the stuff like that. It's like, it's like there's no logically speaking, there is no reason why each artist can't do that stuff too. It just comes down to talent and imagination. So it's just very like, it's a very like kind of stilted looking flat experience for me to read as someone who enjoys reading manga.
As someone who likes good things, I do not like this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I've got high hopes for it becoming more enjoyable. I've changed my opinion on things all the time, like every second.
Yeah, you've said you've read Spirit Circle.
I have,
and you like that one, right?
Yeah, I'm a big. At the time, I was a huge fan of Spirit Circle. Like, it was like, I've
not read it, and now I'm like really interested in how it compares.
I mean, we could do that as Green's next manga, because this one will be over soon. I think I gave it like a 10 when I was like 16 or 17. Like, I really, really loved Spirit Circle. It's like, I think the mechanic, the overall like the shtick is very interesting and appeals to me more than this one. He's always good at coming up with like the thing. That's what I said last time. Like, he's good at coming up with the sell, the pitch. He comes up with interesting concepts. Even Planet With, he like comes up with cool ideas. And the one in Spirit Circle is like, I think is like one of the more interesting ones. Although I think it's also kind of pays homage to like Tezuka's Phoenix and stuff like that. But it's not wholly original, but it's very interesting the way it's implemented. And by the end, I really love the main girl, and I especially love I don't know why at the time, I really loved the villain. Like, the guy who turns out to be like the main bad guy in that story is very interesting to me, and I found him like super appealing as a character. I think I had him as my PFP for a bit. Specifically, there's a famous drawing of his that I think of to this day, where he's scribbling on a piece of paper and he's having a bunch of ideas, and he gets swirly eyes and his head explodes into like a puff of like cartoon stuff. And I always think of that when I'm like in the zone drawing stuff and having a bunch of ideas. I always think of that panel in my head because that's what it feels like. Like I've never seen a better captured like creative ecstasy moment. Like the entirety of Bakuman does not have as well captured a moment of just like the fucking reverie you feel when you're in the zone making something. Yeah.
I've actually been when I was reading this section, I was thinking I was maybe a little more down on it than I normally would have been, partially because I'm thinking, oh god damn it, yeah, Michi's gonna take me to task. I need to be ready to come at him. I either need a good reason why it's good, or I need to just like let him have this. I think part of the issue is the order, and also just our age. That's always going to be part of it. I feel because this is his big pop hit, where Spirit Circle is a more dignified, cerebral.
Yeah, it's like it's literally spirit isn't the title. It's like a spiritual experience thing. This is like a shonen thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Spirit Circle is a much more high-minded kind of artistic, high literature take on his themes. Yeah. Biscuit Hammer is, I don't want to, maybe not dumbed down, but it's a much more approachable, watered down, simpler version of, the tropes he likes and cares about.
He probably would agree with you, because he came up with it later. He probably likes it more. Yeah.
I feel like Biscuit Hammer is kind of, it's both him figuring things out, and also it's kind of it's a good introduction to Mizukami and his vibes and how he operates and what he cares about. It's probably not the most developed version that he's done of this. One thing I kept thinking about, because we watched Planet With, at my request, and I think even Planet With is a much more like Planet With is what Biscuit Hammer probably was supposed to be. I like the characters
more, and it's very similar, like the 12 animal themed.
And it's extremely similar. Like I kept thinking about that, like where. Biscuit Hammer almost feels a little bit like a trial run of him working towards Planet With. Yeah. Because it's even the same thing where they're just waiting for these weird, goofy, abstract monsters to attack, and then all these animal-themed people team up and fight, and then by the end, the conflict just gets swallowed up. It's the conflict is never that important. It's always this kind of arbitrary, almost game thing going on the side. Yeah. Where it's important for the people living through it, but it's not like the story is about the conflict.
To me, I think the thing you said of like the order these came in is very interesting, because I read Spirit Circle first and then I read this afterwards, and I think that definitely tinted my enjoyment, because it's like
I'm pretty sure I did the reverse.
Yeah, it's like going from Disintegration to the first Cure album, Three Imaginary Boys, and it's like if I had done the reverse, I probably would have been like fond of Biscuit Hammer. In a even after reading Spirit Circle, I would still have been like, oh yeah, that's the one that started it all. I've got a warm place in my heart for that, and I really like it. Reading it afterwards, I was like expecting more of something like Spirit Circle, and got and got Biscuit Hammer, and was like, this is like just the drawings are worse. I think the pacing is worse. The variety also is an issue for me. Spirit Circle is fresh and interesting because it goes through so many different settings, so it keeps things visually interesting. This is all like it's all in like Japanese suburbia, like next to rivers and buildings, and just in people's apartments, and I'm just like, okay. A minor complaint, but that does get a bit tiresome, because it's like no visual flair as compared to something like the other two manga we've been reading. Yeah.
And the pace is bugging me a lot more this time around too, where I am noticing it's almost like the whole first section we had is I don't know. It's like he didn't quite know what the manga was going to be. It's almost like a different manga. It's like a weird intro prequel, and now we're into the actual story now. It's also weird that Dog Guy died. Like, him dying really puts a hard bookend on
that section,
that arc, and it's just strange, because it's like he didn't have enough characters to really get the story rolling yet. And then one of the characters he seemed to really care about is already gone, and now we're moving. I think that it's going to feel a lot better now that all the other characters are here because it's just a stronger cast.
Like, I think what he's
not someone who can just take one or two ideas and run with it the whole time. Like, he needs to have new elements constantly juggling in, or he gets stagnant, I think.
I think his thought with killing him was he wanted to up the stakes and establish that this is a dangerous situation, and the best way it is effective as an action in and of itself to just have it does succeed as like a shocking in the moment event to have just this character who's been established as so strong just gets one punch to the sternum, fucking kills him, and he's just like lying on the floor because humans are fragile. But he may have picked, I would say he kind of picked the wrong character to kill, but he didn't have another one to, because there's no one else to be fighting the monster, and obviously he isn't going to kill the main guy or the girl. So, but like if it hadn't been if it had been like maybe like an accident and the dad gets killed or something, like some more minor, but he didn't have enough characters like you were saying, and then he got rid of like one of the better ones. He kind of should have kept him around more. It's
either way,
it's confused. But yeah, I don't have much to say about it because it was a short stretch. It was about 7 chapters we read.
Yeah, it does not cover much ground.
No, I like the swordfish.
I just wanted to get us to the point where the rest of the people show up. That's really it.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
Fair. I mean, it makes sense that you chose that. And works. Things I also like less about this. We have less Samidara in this part, and that's noticeable. Like
that's
because
true.
I like her as a character, and she does not.
I did enjoy we got some progress in the relationship. At least there was like some cutesy stuff, some I love yous. That was nice. I really dislike like when an action story has like hints of romance but never does anything with it. That really bugs me by the end. I'm always like, okay, as soon as something introduces anything romantic, I'm like, okay, you better pay off this or I'm going to be pissed off at you at the end. Like leaving stuff into will they won't they. This making some progress early on is a plus for me for sure. Yeah.
I forgot how short this manga is. I thought it was like 100 chapters and like 66.
I didn't know it was so small.
I remembered it as being much longer than it is.
And I'm also not a big fan at this point of the brother character, like the
pointy tooth guy.
Tooth. Yeah, like him.
He can be great. No pun.
I will say he's probably my least favorite of the squad.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he gets better later on, but at this point he's
he's very much we just needed one of those.
I enjoyed him.
I feel like most of them
I
are
enjoyed just the terms of his dynamic, just having another guy be on against the group. But yeah, him as a person in terms of like personality and his goals, he is kind of one note and it can be a bit annoying. I agree.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get
I like
you,
fighting. It's so much fun. You're strong.
I'm like my brother, but worse.
Yeah, and that's it. If he had showed up earlier and he had died instead, maybe. But he is kind of like you want a sympathetic character to die, not like a
because the older brother, he jumps in, he's flipping the skirts of the high school girls.
He's into anime.
With the teacher.
He's
into fucking anime, and then the brother shows up. He's like, I have none of those funny quirks. But I'm your romantic rival.
Also,
I sure am afraid that the girl will end up with me and not you.
Please take this as the most minor of minor quibbles, but it almost feels like he designed the character and then afterwards came up with the fact that they're brothers because they look nothing alike. Like they have no connection in terms of personality, appearance, the interest, other than they can fight.
Fucked around.
Then they wouldn't be brothers; they'd be half brothers.
They'd be half brothers.
Yeah,
yes.
So they never said that.
Well, people usually don't say that, do they?
Probably. I don't know. Depends how close they are. Yeah, like he's my half brother.
I know all my siblings
or my dad's.
He's my
dad's kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have said that, but like I've never had any of my siblings introduce me. It's like this is my half brother, Green. It's like
I don't know enough about it. I guess, okay. but still, if that's if your head canon is that they're actually half brothers and they just haven't said it so far, then I guess you can believe that, but I see no reason
maybe one's
to.
adopted. Maybe they adopted from like the shitty.
I guess
kids
that's possible,
store.
but if that were the case, I feel like you would bring that up fairly early, like first meeting, rather than hide it for later.
Yeah. I mean, he also takes his brother's death relatively well.
I think he designed all of the. He does. He really does. That was nice to see the main character cry about that. That was
every introduced character is more upset about the death than the brother.
I am going to say he designed the 12 animal people all at the same time after the MC, and then chose in which order to proliferate them through the story. That's my call.
It's likely.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I hope the girls do something. The middle schoolers. I mean, supposedly they've defeated a monster, but it was with the help of the dead
we get a little flashback to their backstory.
Okay,
It'll be nice.
Excellent. I'm excited for that. I'm looking
Everyone
forward
gets their
to
little
the
moment.
next stretch
Nice.
of all 3 manga. This is an amazingly productive podcast.
Finally.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just drafted into Spirit Circle
now.
I mean,
you have any other manga you wanted us to read.
This was a short stretch, so it's fair enough. Wrapping them all up would be okay, and then we'll watch Planet With again.
No.
Well, okay.
Not until we finish Idol Master.
Done, unless you guys.
Yeah. Okay. I'm done too.
You watch the whole show in one day, then you want me to just like slowly go
why
through
does that annoy you? It's not like you're watching it twice. I'm the one.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like it's not real. It's like
this
I'm
is
being
Green crying when I watch
anime
anime without him. How could you?
I mean, I do.
I'm sorry. Upsetting. We'll watch all of Heike Monogatari together. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
The stream is fucking over. Bye.